The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Hello, I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we welcome you to Winning in Retirement. Today I have with me Alex Monk, who also works for Akers Financial Group. Good morning, Alex Monk.
Good morning, Brian. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, Mr. CFP, Certified Financial Planner Practitioner.
You too, CFPP.
CFPP.
Certified Financial Planner Practitioner.
That's absolutely right. So CFP, what that is a series of courses and annual CE credits and fees, and you have an oath to be a fiduciary. And that's been going on like in my life since 1991.
You were the youngest, right? I think you were. Well, I mean, you set some records here, Brian.
Well, I was the youngest because you had to have work experience, a degree, and pass all the tests, and it worked out that way. Now, can I prove it in writing? No. But I asked a bunch of people back then just to find out because it was near impossible to mathematically do it faster. It pays if you know what you want to do when you're 14 years old.
It's a little weird, but I mean, it's a good thing.
All right, this show is Winning in Retirement. We're trying to help every one of you that are listening to think about your own retirement. Maybe you're already retired. Maybe you're younger and you think, well, I want to retire someday. In this modern era, there is no providing for your retirement from our employers. There's not going to be these big pensions where you just count on that as the magical answer for retirement. Winning in retirement is you making the wise decisions throughout your life so that you can win in retirement. So Alex and I have put together this show today to help you decide, is it okay for you to retire or not? And the show is called 10 Questions Before You Retire. Now, as you think about this, you think about where you are right now. What are you doing about this? Are you doing the small things now that mean a lot when you want to actually ask that question one last time? You say, hey, am I ready to retire? And the advisor across the table says, yes, you are.
I mean, that's important. You said you only want to ask that question once. I mean, you only want to retire once.
Absolutely. You don't want to retire and then go, I think I need to go back to work. People enjoy seeing people go back to work after retirement. That's not my plan for my clients. The goal is when you retire, you can financially retire. If you want to retire and do something different, that's going to be your plan, which we can make that part of the plan. So the show goes like this: 10 questions before you retire. So we got 10 to cover. First quarter here, we're going to try to cover 3. So let me start out with the very first question, and then Alex will do not the rebuttal, but the response. All right. So do you know your net worth? What your large debts are? What's the plan? What is your net worth?
So that's just a general, do you know your numbers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a big deal. If you don't, so if the answer is no, the likelihood of you being ready to retire, it's not 0, but it gets smaller.
That means you're not keeping score.
Right. I mean, so it could be, I have so much money I don't need to track things, I hope.
Yeah.
Or it could be, I'm not paying attention because, maybe I'm a little nervous. Maybe I'm a little scared.
I don't open those envelopes right now. I heard the market's down. Things like that.
Before.
But tracking your net worth is the best scorecard to know, are you doing positive things to your net worth? When you pay off debt, you actually increase your net worth. When you save, you increase your net worth. When your money grows, you increase your net worth. But when you spend and use your savings and do other things, your net worth goes back down. Judging the net worth is one of the key factors in making sure that you'll be able to retire someday.
Yeah. So you can't spend stuff. Like you can't do it. You have to resell it. There's a whole thing to, you can't do it. So it takes away from your retirement bucket.
Yeah. If you try to sell it all at once, they call those auctions, and you never quite get full price.
Right. So if you think, well, I'm investing in collectibles or antiques. Well, when you need to eat, and you got to sell those things. So
yeah, it's painful. Like I've had people collect things for 50 years, and they are valuable, but then selling it, the whole act of selling it was brutal.
It's tough.
I try to tell them that they need to sell because they know the market better than their kids will, and so later in their 80s, a lot of times they are unwinding a few things.
All
right. That's question number 1: is do you know your net worth? Hopefully you can. Try to track it. We have special websites for our clients where we track the net worth all the time. So we have a score. We know how we're doing. And the other part about the net worth is, do you have large debts? And understanding what those large debts are, it's a big deal. We'll talk about that more later. Number 2 is this. Do you have positive cash flow?
All right, so that's a big one.
What does that mean?
So, okay, do you have more coming in than you have going out? So what you just said there at the end, you said large debts.
Yeah.
I heard that kind of like echoing there. Well, so those large debts usually come with large payments.
Yep.
So if you have a large amount of debt, then you have big payments. So the chances of you being able to reduce your income, which typically most people do in retirement, at some point your income's going to go down a little bit. Your debts shouldn't be there.
That's the dream goal.
Right.
So the idea of positive cash flow is where the money coming in is greater than the money going out. It sounds simple. Is it that simple?
Typically, no.
It's American to not have a positive cash flow.
Or to just be squeaking by,
Or to spend more than you make because we have credit cards and easy access to credit. It's almost like the American government way of funding things. Run that tab up for me.
Yeah. So consumer debt's at, fairly high levels typically these days.
Right.
We're a consumer-driven society. Like, I'll agree with you there, big time, right? And everyone wants to see the flashy stuff, but does that really matter?
Well, what happens during our younger lives is, yes, we want that, we want this, and you accumulate. Before you know it, you've accumulated a lot. And if you've ever moved, you realize how much you've accumulated when you get a dumpster just to throw some stuff away. And then there is a point in your life when you start to question accumulation of things. And you're like, all right, do I really need that? Or do I have space for that? Those are the decisions. Now, imagine if we live a life in reverse where early on we don't accumulate as fast. We don't spend our money as fast as we get it, but we save it. And we have that money working for us, having that money working and growing and investing on top of each other instead of sitting in a closet or in a basement or in the garage, something that you're really not using, not having the fun you thought you'd have.
Yeah, like the thousands of dollars of baseball cards I have somewhere.
Hey, they're valuable.
Are they?
Well, it could be things like a drone that you flew 2 or 3 times. It could be, any little toy, something that was fun for a moment that a lot of money went into, and then you just don't want to sell it. But by the time you get around to selling, it's not worth anything anymore.
It's a tough one, right? Mm-hmm. And it's because the brain, the pleasure center in the brain, it triggers off of like spending and buying those things. But if you get conditioned to save and you can see your net worth go up, you get that same reaction.
One of the tricks to having positive cash flow is to save first because you'll spend the rest. We have a natural habit to look at our account and say, all right, I got that much to spend. Or if you look and, there's a balance. Okay, yeah, I can afford that. If you have cash in your pocket, might spend even faster. That's fun when you're going places and you got some cash, you just use it.
Yeah, I don't count cash as money anymore. Once it's out of the bank, it's gone.
That's because it doesn't
last.
Doesn't stay in the wallet long.
No, right? You fill up your gas tank, you get something to eat, and you're like, wait a sec, what just happened? And it really hurts that, it hurts that day. If you're using a credit card, at least it doesn't hurt till the end of the month.
Oh, you're in my head. Like on Saturdays, I like to drive around a little bit, and I pick up bird seed, and I do this, get a haircut, and a couple other things. That's $100 and some gone. And then you look at all the receipts for the day, and it's like, wow, that was a bad day, and I didn't really do much. And bird seed, I love seeing my birds. The problem is that you are throwing it in your backyard, basically.
Yeah, you're definitely throwing it out.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Back to the topic. The topic is this. 10 questions you got to ask before you retire. One of them is, do you have positive cash flow? If you can't live off your means while you're working, how are you going to do in the retirement years? The habit of living within your means is the habit we got to get to financially. Whatever your income is, you have to come into that agreement with you and your spouse to where this will be our budget within our means, living within our means.
Right. Or you improve your means. And then something that happens with your income is taxes. Mm-hmm. So you got to know where you're at now, and you got to know where you're going.
And that's actually our number 3 question. Have you projected your taxes into your future? Do you know what taxes are going to look like in retirement? Have you made decisions throughout your life that are going to increase your future taxation without you really thinking about it?
Well, most people just live their life and they say, you know what, and when I'm retired, taxes are going to be lower. That may not be the case. So tax brackets can go up.
I argue that tax brackets are definitely going up, And if we try to retire on 75, 80% of our pay, we're going to probably be in the same bracket, but the rate's going to be even higher. So we'll pay more in our future than now. And so we got to plan that by building tax-free money, tax-free decisions that are made younger and younger in life, such as Roth, such as cash value life insurance, things like that can be the tax-free that you need and want when you want to turn that faucet on. It's nice getting a check and no tax on it.
And you're basically paying the debt, right? Your tax debt ahead of time while you have this extra cash flow.
Yeah. So here on the show today, we're covering 10 questions before you retire. Number one was, do you know your net worth? Have you kept score? Do you have a positive cash flow and the money coming in versus the money going out? Have you projected your taxes in your future? Well, you probably might need an expert to help you with that. And that's exactly one of the points about being financial planners. We like to invite to have us help you find these numbers out, figuring it out, where you are and where should you really be. Typically, we spend more time planning our vacation than doing retirement planning. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we ask for an hour at a time. That doesn't seem like a lot of time to talk about retirement.
My wife doesn't even know the password to her retirement account, and I know she's planning some vacations for a fact.
That's just an example we're giving today. Most people, the retirement is not on their mind until it becomes on their mind, and that's always later than it needs to be. If you're younger and you're thinking about your retirement, I believe that you're going to be able to accomplish that goal because it's on the top of your mind. It's something that you worked for. You're putting money away at a younger age, and you're trying to maximize that future.
Oh yeah, and it's the sooner you think about it, the easier it is to really wrap your head around it.
Yeah, Akers Financial Group, we think it's extremely important to do retirement planning at no matter what age you are. The sooner you start, the better. Sometimes you might think, oh, I have more than enough money. We found that the higher income you have, the higher the need is, the greater the value of your savings needs to be. You need to make sure you're keeping track of your net worth, your positive cash flow, and projecting your taxes. Akers Financial, we're local, we're independent. We don't report to a big company on Wall Street. We report to you. We have offices in Lutherville and Farmville and clients all around the state, all around the country. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. You can call us for a free consultation with one of our team of advisors. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to AkersFinancialGroup.com. Give us a call at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. What is the number one sign that someone is financially ready to retire? We'll give you that answer when we get back in 2 minutes.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Yes, welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Welcome to the second quarter. I'm Brian Akers, and here with me today is Alex Monk. Alex Monk's been working for Akers Financial Group for over 10 years, has an accounting degree, certified financial planner, licensed as an investment advisory rep, has stockbroker licenses, life and health licenses. You're ready to go.
Licensed and dangerous, I think you said long time ago.
Yeah, but the coolest thing is that you were my assistant years and years ago, and then you just grown to where you're an advisor working with clients over the last 6-7 years. You've done a great job for them. And I know some love to listen and hear your voice and hear some of your jokes, which I think is pretty fun.
Oh man, don't! My head's as big as it can get.
I agree with that. That's why we do radio and not television, but we do enjoy actually talking finance, and we really enjoy talking to the clients about what's going on in their life, trying to help them reach whatever goals they may have. So one of those big goals for everyone is retirement. And so we did for this show is this. We have the topic is called 10 questions before you retire. A lot of people come in and say, am I okay? Can I retire? Well, here's 10 questions before you retire. How do you answer these? First quarter, we asked 3. Here in the second quarter, we're going to build with 3 more. All right. So the T says, what is the number one sign that someone is financially ready to retire? What answer would you give, Alex Monk?
It's a large orange number over their head.
Okay. That's based on a commercial.
No, that's not it. It's if they're debt-free.
Debt-free. So if they walk in the door with no debt, that would be your sign that they're ready to retire.
Right. I don't care what that number says above their head.
Yep.
You got no debt, let's talk.
Right. And the reason is the discipline it takes to pay off your house, to pay off your cars, to have no debt at all is the discipline needed to provide for your own retirement.
Now, and we're not talking about that person that went out, cashed their 401k out, paid off their mortgage the last year of work.
And we've seen a couple people rush to retirement by making bad decisions, by paying way too much tax, cashing a 401k and trying to get rid of the mortgage because that was they believe getting out of debt was the only answer. But the problem is they ate the income, the future income.
So that's not, we're talking about the scenario where you know your numbers, you know your budget, you're paying off your debt, you're living within your means. Yeah. We're not making those ripcord decisions at the end.
Yeah, like a mortgage design, if you have a low interest rate, I'm not a big fan of paying it off too fast, but I want to pay it off the year before I retire, make sure it's gone so it's not a bill. Right. Taxes and insurance will be enough money in my retirement budget.
That is, one thing that we can guarantee is there will be taxes, and most likely they're going to go up.
One of the craziest things is that my parents bought a house in 1969. So their mortgage payment is half what their taxes are now when they first bought the house.
Yeah, so inflation is real.
It's real, especially if you want to retire for 30 years. Imagine being retired 30 years in the same house, and 20, 30 years from now, the taxes are going to be triple or more.
That's what I told my mom wants to retire soon. And I said, well, congrats. You only have another 40 years to live based on how long people in your family live. That's a long time.
Will your money last a lifetime? Extremely important decision that you have to know. So this is it. We had the question, what is the number one sign that someone is financially ready to retire? The answer is if they have no debt. And that shows incredible discipline. So all those that are listening without debt, congratulations. If you have debt, there's ways to work this out by the time you retire. It's just a matter of math and planning it out. Sometimes we've enjoyed life previously extremely well. We got some debts we got to get rid of now, and there is some time of discipline to go from a debtor to a saver, and that's really what has to happen.
And I tell clients all the time, look, I'm not here to judge you based on what you did before. I'm going to just judge you now that I met you. Because now you don't have an excuse. If we've talked about it, there's no excuse.
Yeah,
but if you didn't know before.
I didn't know if I should laugh or not at that. I was supposed to laugh, right?
I mean, I tell them that, though. But it's like, I can't judge you for what you did before. But if we're going to put this plan together, there's no excuse now.
Well, the hardest part is we can make very quick financial decisions that put us in trouble for years.
Oh, yeah.
And that's their number 4 question that you have to ask before you retire. Number 4 is this, do you have personal debt? Personal debt is debt that's not secured by an asset. A car debt, a mortgage, we view those as asset-based debts. We treat them in a different category than personal debt. Examples of personal debt, Alex?
High credit card bills.
High credit card bills, personal loans.
Personal loans. Now, sometimes I kind of view like home improvement stuff that way. Yeah. If you're paying 10% for your windows, I don't love that.
I love zeros, but I don't like lots of zeros where you have your cash flow is all gone. There's no money to live your life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they're going to give you 0%, there's something to be said about that. But you don't want to stretch yourself too thin.
You want to have a ability to have extra positive cash flow in your plan.
Yeah, and
if you have debt, the concept called snowball is one that's a really good idea of how you work through your finances of paying off different types of debts. What we try to do with clients that have debts is we find out where it's all going, and we work through a process of finding the way, whatever that way is.
And sometimes it's just the structure. I've helped people restructure debt so many times, and it's just like, oh, yeah, I was paying that much in interest?
Oh, yeah. It's brutal when they see the numbers and you break it all down. Because what happens is you just pay what comes in, you pay it, and you don't really think about it all together. And all of a sudden you start attacking the debt, it disappears, and you have this positive cash flow. Like, hey, I got some money there. Now, if you ever want to move and you can't move because you have credit card debt and you got to get rid of the credit card to move, there's this process you got to go through of attacking that debt. You got to work on it hard. It takes time.
Yeah, and you got to fix the habit that got you there, too.
Yeah, whatever caused it, you have to figure out what that was. So question number 5, for people basically are asking, are they ready to retire? There's 10 questions before you retire, and here's number 5. 5 is this: have you built an emergency fund?
Yeah, well, if you have personal debt, the answer is probably no.
Yeah, normally if there is no savings like emergency fund, then there is budget problems somewhere. It might be hidden in the fact they might have a large 401k, but they put everything deferred and there was no extra money and they have credit card debt and no cash, or they might have no cash at all. They just spent everything that they brought in.
And the 401k makes it really easy, right? Because we hide it from ourselves immediately. It's not even like a bill that comes out of our checking account. We don't even see it.
But most people are underfunding even their 401k based on how late they started.
That is also true.
As inflation rate rise, you have to raise the amount of money you save to keep up with inflation if you want to run those numbers in a retirement assumption. It's crazy.
And that's so counterintuitive, right, Brian? Because right now things are costing more, and you would think, oh, I have to reduce my savings. Well, no, in reality, you got to tighten your budget. And you got to increase your savings to combat the compounding of that inflation going forward, because it's not going to go low.
Well, people get to 62 and they say, oh, I want to retire. Or they'll walk in and say, I'm retiring, I'm 62. And then we ask them, well, can we ask these questions, these same 10 questions? And then they say they don't answer them properly. And we're like, why do you think you can retire? And they go, I'm 62.
Right.
Thinking that it's they earned the age. The problem is we got to understand the budget. Because if you squeeze into a age 62 retirement where the budget is really tight, how are you going to be 72 when all of a sudden those bills are up 50, 60%? What's going to help you stay with that?
The math is horrible.
The math is horrible because things that people get, Social Security, most likely be going down in the future. They are giving cost of living adjustments recently, but that's probably going to slow greatly down over the years. Medicare premiums will rise. There already means testing Medicare. That probably means that's Social Security someday.
Something's coming. They changed, they're changing RMD rules. They're changing all types of things, and the trend seems to be pushing things down the road.
Pushing down the road means retirement later is going to be what Social Security and a lot of the designs are. They did use 75 on the most recent RMD for anybody born 1960 or later. So number 5 question is this, is have you built an emergency fund? While you're paying off your personal debt, you need to build your savings. So your paycheck, you can actually split your paycheck. You can have some go to checking, have $25, $50, $100, go to your savings account.
Yeah, and if it's a bank that's different than the one you use for checking, that can also help.
It helps because what happens is this. You're paying down your debts, and then guess what happens? You need a car repair, and I have not had a $400 car repair in years. They always want more than that of the tires or whatever it is. You need $600, $1,000. Where's it going to be at? We'd love for that to be in your savings. Hey, charge it, get the points, and then pay it out of your savings. Even if it's all the same day, you still get the bonus credit card points.
Oh, yeah, and those things are great.
They are great as long as we pay the credit card off. If you haven't noticed your credit card statement, you'll find that they made the interest rates jump. What was 23 might be 29 now.
Yeah, they're going up, and they don't send you anything in the mail to tell you that.
Oh, they send little thick pieces of paper in December.
I can't read that small print.
Hey, but the statement, the actual statement, usually on page 2, maybe 3, you'll see
on the bottom.
You'll see the interest rates. It's amazing what you see there. So. Imagine you bought something 2 years ago, you're still paying on. Also now it's 30% a year, or 29% a year you've been paying on it. You really paid extra for that money. All right, and number 6, the 6th question is this, is will you have a mortgage into your retirement years? So having a mortgage in retirement years means that that's a large number that has to go out the door just to maintain the house that you're in.
Or your shelter, right? You have to live. You have to live somewhere. I mean, unless the plan is moving with the kids, You got to have a house.
You got to live. And so we love having the house paid off. There's an argument about having too much house equity, not using your money properly. There's companies out there trying to push where you borrow against that for your retirement. We consider those last resort type of planning. We'd rather them not be the option. So the idea here is this. Number 6 is, will you have a mortgage into your retirement years? If you're young enough to be able to calculate how to pay it off and to add a little extra to your mortgage every month, or get a 15-year mortgage instead of 30, so you get a lower rate and get it paid off by the time you retire, that's exactly what we should do.
Yeah, and I'm not the guy that's going to tell you to go get a home equity line so we can invest it. That's not happening.
If somebody does that, what you got to do is say, thanks for the advice. I'll be calling Akers Financial Group instead.
Right.
We want you to be out of debt. By out of debt, imagine your bills with no debt. How can you retire with no debt? It's a lot easier. What do you want to do in retirement? You want to do stuff. It all costs money. I don't want to be paying for a shirt I bought 3 years ago on my credit card, right? Do you?
It's true, though, because you might just be making interest-only payments.
Or what if you have a credit card and you say, I had a great vacation in 2018, I'm still paying on? That's not fun for this year's vacation.
Right. What does that mean for the future? I mean,
yeah.
There is some value in memory investing, but not if you're using debt.
Yeah, so the idea is this. These are the 10 questions that we're working on before you retire, things you got to think about. At Akers Financial Group, everything we do is about you. Your retirement is as unique as your fingerprint. When you sit down with us, we start by taking a look at your financial fingerprint. Where is your money? How much do you have? How much are you earning? Then we talk about what you want your retirement to look like, to feel like. That's your retirement fingerprint. Perhaps you've already been sold something, regardless of whether you needed it or not. Not at Akers Financial Group. With us, your retirement money follows your financial fingerprint. It's a retirement plan based on your unique fingerprint, and that determines where your money will go. It's not about us, it's about you. Give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE and schedule a free in-person or Zoom meeting. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. 833-946-7384, or visit our website, akersfinancialgroup.com. Scroll down to the bottom of our homepage and schedule a meeting right there. Call 833-WIN-RETIREMENT or go to our website, akersfinancialgroup.com. Don't spend your future. We'll explain in 2 minutes.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Just like the announcer said, welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, founder and president of Akers Financial Group, and we want to welcome you to the second half of Winning in Retirement. Alex Monk is our guest today. He's also a certified financial planner practitioner from Akers Financial Group. Are you ready to go here in the second half, Mr. Alex Monk?
Sure, I'm ready. This is my time.
Are you a halftime kind of guy?
Yeah, I'm like a second half kind of guy.
Orange slice kid, or are you
I'm a high C.
High C?
Yeah, I like the juice box. The orange slices, like if you didn't cut them the right way, and I don't know. Weird with the skin. Anyway.
All right. So I played basketball in the 80s, and so it wasn't quite the orange slice time of life. What would happen is at a second quarter, I wasn't making my shots. I had no energy. So my coach bought me a hot dog and a Snickers bar. So I got a hot dog and Snickers bar at halftime. Then I
thought you were going to say like he punched you or something.
Oh, no,
it was a different day.
He didn't call me hot dog. No, I had a hot dog and Snickers bar at halftime, and I had a great second half and crashed after that. But it was a good day. I do enjoy sports. I enjoy coaching, and I also enjoy coaching finance. Winning in retirement to me is just a simple way of thinking about what we need to do for our own future. What are you doing for your own future? Are you doing the work now so that when you ask these questions, am I ready to retire? The answer would be absolutely yes. So we put together a show today called 10 Questions Before You Retire. These questions have been questions that we all need to examine right now to get going and make sure our retirement is built for what we want it to do. Now, the question so far is, do you know your net worth? Do you have positive cash flow? Have you projected your taxes into your future? Do you have personal debt? Have you built an emergency fund? Will you have a mortgage into your retirement years? As we begin the second half, we're starting with this question. Don't spend your future. All right, Alex, we're going to talk about that a little bit. What do you think the concept of don't spend your future means?
Oh, that's, I took a 401k distribution to fund this wedding, or I needed a new car, or
I lowered my 401k contribution. I don't get the match anymore because I had to pay a bill.
Right, or we needed a new deck, so I had to lower my contributions to cover the loan. Or there's always an excuse,
right?
And it's whatever. I mean, I make excuses all the time in my life, but it's a good excuse until you say it in front of somebody.
All right, so people are listening to us driving down the road, and they're thinking, all right, I have put off saving my retirement long enough.
Right, but you should see my deck.
Well, there's always going to be a reason not to save for retirement. The question is this: who else is saving for your retirement? My answer is there is no one else saving for your retirement. No one's going to build that retirement like you need it to be built unless you take it very seriously and begin today, saving and building and growing.
And we're at the point where the phase of people getting pensions is almost gone.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that I'm amazed by is when people are very successful, they make $400, $600 million a year, their plans at work do not allow them to save enough to match their retirement. But they maximize retirement at work and they think that's enough. And the reality is they won't have the same level of income in their retirement years. And they work close unless they take it very seriously at saving more. So the calculations apply to those that make very little and to those that make very great amounts of money and salaries and income and profit and stuff, where we got to make wise decisions with whatever money we've earned.
Oh, yeah. And if your lifestyle is built that way, do you really want to take a lifestyle decrease in retirement? No.
Nobody wants to plan that. Now, generally the numbers are 75, 80% because you save for retirement. You have Medicare and Social Security. That's 7.65 plus what you save. Let's call that 13%. If you're saving minimally, that means you got to have 87% of your income. If you knock it down a few more percent because you save extra, it's 75 to 80. That's how you get to that number.
Yep. And let's hope you have some money in tax-free accounts.
Absolutely. Pay tax now. The year 23, 24, 25 is our golden year of lower taxation. There'll be these charts that when we come back to these magical years of taxation, and we'll see the charts and we'll say, oh, those were good tax years. What we need to do with that is pay that tax now at a low rate and never again. And that's why we're going to talk about number 7. The question is this, do you max your savings to your available retirement plans?
And you just said tax-free, Brian. Well, I save pre-tax.
Okay, that's great.
But now, apparently, you can save post-tax at work.
In most plans, they already have a Roth option. We've had shows on Rothification, Rothifying, whatever version of the word you'd like to apply. Roth is where you pay tax now and never again. Yep. But you do have to pay tax on that money. Yeah. Imagine you do a Roth 401k, you would actually take home less money. And the reason is because you've got to pay tax on the contribution.
But if you start it that way, you never miss it. Look, and trust me, it's going to be a huge benefit down the road. Because when you have $1 million in your 401k and it's all pre-tax and you really only have $600,000 of that, you're not going to be a happy camper. You just lost 40%.
If someone has $1 million, we say, hey, that's $40,000, $33,000, $3,500 a month. Oh, and you got to pay tax on it.
Right.
It's not quite the fun answer because you knock some tax out, 20, 30%. All of a sudden you're living off of $2,000. Is that really enough?
Is that what you wanted? I mean, you thought $1 million was a huge number when you came in.
I did a presentation for younger people the other day, and I showed them that if you make $30,000 a year, you need $1.8 million when you retire to hit your number. If you take it with inflation to the future, it's a real simple calculation, but that number seems big, right?
It's a huge number, and
you don't get 1.8 just by dropping in 1.9. You have to save that money over a lifetime. Yeah. So do you max your savings at your available retirement plans? Number 1 is, do you actually maximize the match? Are we at least doing that?
The match is free money. That's part of your salary. It's part of your compensation.
Do you even know the match of your company? If you don't know, you need to know to make sure you're maximizing the match. And then the question is can you raise it more? I would trick myself. I would bump it up until you max it out. Maxing out, if you're under 50 years old, is $22,500 for the year 2023. It's $30,000 for somebody over 50 years old in a 401k version of any type of retirement.
Right, but imagine if you're 30 and you're putting away 20 grand. Like, you're going to be so far ahead of the curve.
You can actually think about retiring early, and early, in my opinion, is before 67.
Don't say that. People are going to freak out.
62 is the earliest on Social Security. It doesn't mean normal Marylanders, normal Americans can ever hit that number with the way they want to live.
Right. And you have to have 3 years of extra money because you're going to be paying for your health insurance, most likely. And you can't be taking more any principal at that age.
One of the best things to do is you look at your W-2 you received, the one that you use for your taxes. That W-2 will have a box, and that box will tell you how much was deferred the year before. So as a planner, we look at that and we see if that number hit the maximum. Was it 20,500? Was it 27,000? Even 27,500? What was that number? And many times I look at the W-2 of a new client and I say, "Oh, you didn't maximize." "Oh, I thought I did." And what they had done is set their number a few years ago, but they didn't escalate it with inflation as we've been allowed to save more and more pre-tax.
Oh, I thought my plan would do that for me. Nope, they don't care at all.
Yeah, there's things like the Roth contributions. Now, if clients make too much money, there is limits to putting money in a Roth if you make too much money, where you really can't add extra to your Roth if you make over a couple $100,000.
It's like 2 and change, right?
Yeah, for 22. Yeah.
So,
and in 23 is a little higher. It got an escalated. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's $100,000 a year is not what it used to be. It's not even near that.
No.
I mean, a big Jeep costs $100,000 now. That's insane.
Yes, it does. That's a whole nother conversation. All right, so number 7 on the 10 questions before you retire was, do you max your savings through your available retirement plans? That's the only way to set money aside, is to throw it to your own future. You're taking money today and throwing it to you in the future. It's basically a futuristic type thing. You can call it really cool stuff, that you care about your future self so much you're saving for that future day because you need to. The number 8 question is this. Do you have a plan for big expenses? You might be trying to deal with college with your kids. You might have to worry about long-term care for parents or even yourself. You might have large home repairs before you actually settle into retirement to keep a house. Maybe you need a car when you retire because your company car goes away. There's these large expenses out there that we have to be ready for when someone drops a $15,000 bill on your table.
Yeah, and it's like, well, monthly I don't need much money. I need $3,000-$4,000 a month.
Right.
Except for the $40,000 car that happens every 5 years, or the the roof that happens every 10 at $50,000. If you live in Florida, it's got to be every 10 years now, apparently. So, there's all types of stuff that's going to cost big chunks of money.
Yeah, so normally we have an emergency fund to cover our expenses. Then we add on top of that what we need for short and medium term expenses, like HVAC. My roof is almost 20 some years old here in Maryland, and all of a sudden you got to 30,000 into something like that.
Yeah, and those things are part of life, right? I mean, they just happen, especially with a house, something that's a wear asset, right? Like your brakes on your car. You got to replace them.
One of the mistakes we've seen is people that are retirement poor. What I mean by that is that all of their savings, because the only way that they learned to save was at work into their 401k plan, and that's the only place they have money saved, so they have no access for big expenses. So if they need $30,000, they got to take out 45 to 50 to be able to pay the tax, and then pull out 30 to do the expense. Over time, if you build things out in a joint account, you can own stocks that where the dividends and the capital gains are at less tax rates than normal. There's ways to build your taxable accounts in a way to provide for the future needs and let your retirement money run. And then you build a blend of tax-free and pre-tax and combination of buckets of money to use for all purposes in your future.
And that's my favorite, is when we have a nice balance, and then we can really play a lot of tax games. That gets me excited.
Absolutely.
Let's see how we can beat the system.
The key advice here is don't spend your future, save into your future. Throw that money to your own future. Make sure it's there waiting for you when you're ready to ask these questions. That's the 10 questions before you retire. Now, at Akers Financial Group, we like to think about our clients like this, where the best part of their retirement is getting their time back. That's where they decide how to use it. Before retirement, your time is tied up with other commitments, mainly your job. A lot of that goes away at retirement. Your time is now consumed by things that you want to do. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. Go to our website at akersfinancialgroup.com. Scroll to the Schedule a Meeting section and let us know you'd like to schedule your free consultation with one of our team of advisors. That's akersfinancialgroup.com, or you can call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to akersfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. Will you stay or will you go? We'll talk about the retirement decision in just 2 minutes.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome to the fourth quarter of Winning in Retirement. Fourth quarter is always winning time, and it is winning in retirement time to talk about that. Alex Monk is here with me today. I'm talking about retirement, and our main topic has been this: 10 questions before you retire. 10 questions you need to think about and consider before you retire. And we're actually saying for you to consider them right now so that when you get to retirement, you know the answer to all these questions. All right, so far we've done this. Now, question number 1 is, do you know your net worth? Your large debts, and what's the plan to get rid of those large debts? Do you have positive cash flow? Have you projected your taxes into your future? Do you have personal debt? That was number 4. Number 5, have you built an emergency fund? Number 6, will you have a mortgage into your retirement years? Number 7, do you max your savings to your available retirement plans? Number 8 is, do you have a plan for big expenses? College, long-term care, home repairs, cars, all kinds of things. And then here in the fourth quarter, we're going to start with this. Will you stay or will you go now?
Oh, that's...
I'm sorry, I didn't want to sing. I was going to make you sing today. I thought it'd be fun.
That was my job today, and you stole it, and now I'm upset. So,
Sorry about that.
will you stay or will you go?
And that's all about asking this question, right? 10 questions before you retire.
Will you stay at work?
Yep. Will you stay at work, or will you be able to go and do whatever your retirement dream is?
Right, and we're not telling you like, hey, look, when we say you're good to retire, you have to go in and burn all your bridges that day. You might even want to keep your job. You might like your job.
Yeah, financial independence is an incredible place to be. And financial independence is where you have enough money to retire any day you want, and you choose to work.
Right, like I think that would feel really nice.
It's got to feel really nice to be financially independent, to know you're working because you enjoy it, and it helps you. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble, But the idea here is, as we go through the show today, if you missed any of it, we'll have it on our website at akersfinancialgroup.com. Under the radio tab, we have our recorded shows. We also are available on some podcast sites out there, too, under Winning in Retirement.
Oh, yeah. So keep us going in your earphones when you're running. I've heard we're very motivational to run to.
That's good. I'm glad that's true. I do listen to it a few times just to make sure what we said was what I want to say. All right. Number 9 on our list of 10 questions you need to ask before you retire is, are you truly ready to retire? Number 9. Are you truly ready? What does that mean to you, Alex?
So, and retiring, it's almost a mental state because it's a huge paradigm shift for people, right? Mm-hmm. They go from saving and budgeting and working every single day, right? And for sometimes 40, 50 years it could be. And then they go to not saving, and they still want to save, which is the craziest part. But not saving and spending their savings, or, their guaranteed income sources, or whatever they have going on. That's a tough thing mentally for a lot of people.
Yeah, there's self-made millionaires, people that worked very hard their whole life to accumulate things, have a hard time settling into a retirement where they have to trust the money from their money rather than from their hard work.
And it cracks me up because I have clients and they'll be like, Alex, I still want to be able to save.
In retirement.
And I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to explain this to you, and we do this all the time, but you know that the money that you're getting every month is your savings. And I know you want more every month so that you can save it elsewhere just because it's a habit, but whatever. Okay.
but the concept is, you have a saver, and that's why they're able to retire, and they're in great shape, and then Absolutely. They can build savings. The hard part is when they're not doing the things that they wanted to do because they feel they need more savings. That's a little too far on the saving side. There is such a thing as having that syndrome. Concept's called a bag lady syndrome, where you always view that you're going to be that person pushing a cart because you run out of money, no matter how much money you have.
And it's typically, single women that we see that get to that scenario because they live so much longer.
There's books written on that and on money psychology out there, which are good to read when it comes down to understanding how different people think about money in different ways. Knowing how you think about money helps you decide things big, like, are you ready to retire? Some people, they come in and say, hey, Brian, I was born to retire. and I believe it because they're ready. And we go through it all, and we go through all these pieces, and they go, okay, what do I do now? And then we walk through the path, getting them ready to retire. We talk about their job and at their work. When is the best time to retire based on your systems? Is it June 30th? Is it December 31st? Is it January 5th, where you can bring in a whole nother batch of vacation pay? Is there any tricks to getting a bonus before you retire? Is there ways to not tell them you're leaving to a certain date so you get an extra bonus and then you can retire? What is the answer for your exact retirement? And that's not something we have written down. It's something we have to discover together.
Yeah, and that's always a fun thing too, and then you see different people's different loyalties, right? So some people are like, I can't wait to get out of there. Let's burn this place to the ground. And some people are like, I love this place.
Yeah.
This is my lifeblood. I'll stay for this long, and then I'll stay on part-time if they need it, and then it's 2 years later and they're still working part-time, and it's like, yeah.
I have multiple people where they retire and they have to wait 45 days so they're allowed to go back to any type of government tied in job to make it work. The thing is that they can end up going right back to the same job, usually for less pay, because they know you're getting a pension. So I always try to make them negotiate a little bit higher to make sure they're make it worth their while to go back to work.
Well, and a lot of times it's a good thing because people, if you're not working, I mean, you're probably spending money.
Yeah, you're spending money on, you're sitting around your house, you go, I need to fix that. Oh, I haven't touched that in 20 years.
Or if you leave your house, it's going to cost you what? $1 a minute?
Well, driving
And wherever you go, because I mean, if you get a cheeseburger,
$1 a minute. Oh man, I've never thought about it that way. I don't want to think about it that way.
Look, what's your average when you leave your house on a Saturday?
What's your cost per minute out the door? I won't be leaving.
37 cents. Like what is it?
I've never done it by the minute, so I don't really want to do it. Earlier, I talked about about a day, a Saturday, just picking up a few things that seems normal and how much it costs.
Yeah, so it's like we got to have plans for these things. And
yeah, so number 9 is, are you truly ready to retire? And this is something where you're going to know, but then you're not going to really know until you're 2 years into your retirement, and you all of a sudden you have this breath. You like relax, and that relaxation, we can see it when you walk in. All right, the funniest thing that's happened this year was a client brought in a video of what he wore to his retirement last day.
Oh, I saw this one. That was good.
He basically brought a cigar, a big Hawaiian shirt, and wore it into a board meeting and sat there. And basically the whole meeting is not my problem. And if they videoed him, it was an excellent thing for us to see because it was a plan that built over time.
It's always fun to see the C-suite having a little fun.
That was nice for him to be able to retire and very enjoyable, and for him to wear the Hawaiian shirt. It's not a bad idea.
And he's built for retirement.
Actually, but the work was done. And what I mean by the work is this, is number 10. The 10th question that you need to ask before you retire, and that's this one. Have you worked with a CFP, a certified financial planner, to design your unique financial plan? A certified financial planner has an approach to a thorough planning, and that's one of the things that we believe strongly in, is that planning leads us into a decision. It's not product driven, it's planning driven. It's done by what's right for you in your situation. They've come up with new rules called best interest and things like that. And guess what? That's exactly what fiduciaries should do and have always done, the ones that do the planning first.
It's kind of frustrating that now everyone else has to play by the same rules as us, but it's also a good feeling. Like I'm happy. Like it's about time that these people stop messing around.
Or they'll put a shingle out and say, "Oh, we're a fiduciary." I said, "About time." Right. That's sort of the answer.
And there.
Yeah. So imagine that you have an advisor, or you might have somebody you bought products from. You need to think about, all right, the products, were they the right things for me now and for my future? Or were they something maybe I need it just for a little while and I don't need it for my retirement plan? How do you make those decisions? It all is all part of the retirement plan, putting it all together.
Right.
It's not easy it's not, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. It's not easy to take someone who has bought from a lot of different people to bring it all together into a written financial plan, because if you are a product buyer, you have the habits of saying yes and buying a bunch of different things, a collection. They usually don't all work together. So it takes a while to figure out what you have, then figure out what's the best for in each option.
And also when you bought them, right? Like how many people out there have like a real expensive life insurance policy that someone they went to college with sold them? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people.
Right.
Is that right for them now that they're higher income earners, no debt? Probably not. Like where are they at in life? Like, 'cause a lot of these products are sold based on sold for commission for that agent or whatever it was at that person's time, right? They're not necessarily.
Well, you can see when people come in and you say, "Oh, you bought that in 1998," and I can tell what investment was hot in 1998. There are sort of certain funds, like the old Janus funds and other things, that were certain years were the hot thing based on what's on the internet now. It used to be in magazines. People would buy the hot thing. The problem is some people would collect, and they build this collection. The problem is how does that collection become your personal plan? And that's the work of a financial planning, is bringing it all together and knowing why we're doing all this and how we're trying to accomplish the income flow and cash you need so that you can retire and stay retired.
And some of those products could still be great. And that's part of the complication that you were referring to earlier is, look, if it's a right product for you still, we're keeping it.
That's why Akers Financial Group is an independent financial services firm, so we can take over as a broker of record, agent of record, other products that have been sold to clients where we can see the information, have it into our website so we can bring it all together into your portfolio design and income design to make it all work. We don't have to get rid of that old thing if it's worthwhile, if it's a good thing to have.
Right. And, part of the goal there, too, is to help you use it correctly. Because most likely, whoever sold you that thing is gone.
Right. They sold it and moved on. They usually don't review annually. They usually don't review ever after they sell it. That's a typical MO. But the idea is this. Akers Financial Group, you need to build a plan. That plan has to help you answer the 10 questions before you retire. And that's what this show has been all about, is these 10 questions before you retire. Think about them at whatever age you are. How are you doing? Do you know your net worth? How about your cash flow and your debt? How are you saving at retirement? Are you building this plan for your future, for you and your family? Get it started today. There's no reason to wait. Alex, thank you very much for on the show today. I appreciate it.
It's been great, bro.
It's been going really fast, and the information is really good because it is the way we walk people into their retirement years, because we want you to win in your retirement. So take advantage of an opportunity to begin planning with us at Akers Financial Group. To schedule your free meeting with one of our team of advisors, go to our website at akersfinancialgroup.com. Scroll to the Schedule a Meeting section and let us know you'd like to schedule your free meeting. That's akersfinancialgroup.com. Or you can give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. And we'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for your retirement now. Go to akersfinancialgroup.com or give us a call at 833-946-7384. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Akers Financial Group offers securities through Archedios Capital, an SIPC and FINRA member firm. Advisory services are provided through Archedios Wealth. Akers Financial Group and Archedios do not share any common ownership. Neither Archedios nor Akers Financial Group provides tax or legal advice. Advice given on winning in retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, and/or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment. Examples and scenarios shared are meant to be for illustrative purposes only. Past performance is not indicative of future results.